There's been a lot of change in 200 years. Well, we've all kick-started now, haven't we? But in 1769, my life would have been very predictable. Coming from a working class background, I'd have probably been a farmer or a labourer. Men and women would have very clearly defined roles in domestic and social terms, and my life expectancy would have been about 40. I wouldn't expect much to change in my lifetime, or in my children's lifetimes. By contrast, in the 21st century, we've come to accept that change is the only constant. At our first Future Talent Conference in 2014, Alex Lowe from Google was memorable for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he said quite strikingly, the pace of change is accelerating, and to get your head around this, today is as slow as it's ever going to be. He also bore a striking resemblance to an A-list Hollywood star, so there was an array of tweets on the social wall from an excited audience saying things like, George Clooney's talking to us about tech. Now, the world of work and indeed humankind is facing unprecedented change with the move into a fourth industrial revolution. This is characterized by emerging technology breakthroughs in almost every area of our lives, with artificial intelligence and biotech set to transform how we work and how we live. The academic and author Yuval Noah Harari asks the question, how can we prepare ourselves and our children for a world of such unprecedented transformations and radical uncertainties? What should we teach a baby born today that will help him or her survive and flourish in the world of 2050 or of the 22nd century? What kind of skills will he or she need in order to get a job, understand what's happening around them, and navigate the maze of life? Call me an optimist, but I think herein lies the opportunity. Let me explain. If we can no longer be certain about the future, including things that seem fixed and eternal, then there's an opportunity to reboot, to break down the status quo and challenge the stereotypes of what young people should or shouldn't be able to achieve based on their family background, gender, geography, sexuality, disability, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. We can't legislate for what young people will end up doing because none of us knows. But we can work together to create an environment where equality of opportunity and social mobility is hardwired into our systems for every young person. Now that's in essence what Future Talent Live is all about. Our aim is to support an information exchange between educators and employers to help bring the world of work to life for the next generation. We're driven by a mission to create equality of opportunity for every young person. We're delighted to be working with a fantastic range of partners, all of whom understand this zeitgeist. Better and more varied transition from education into employment can only be achieved through greater connectedness between these worlds. The Association of School and College Leaders, under the leadership of Carl Ward, who was president last year, has been a huge advocate of the need for education to embrace an understanding of what's needed to prepare young people for the world of work. The Careers and Enterprise Company has been tasked with creating efficiency in the careers space. Under the leadership of Claudia Harris, it's piloted What Works and has been instrumental in informing the recent careers strategy from the government. The strategy highlights the need to help young people understand the range of opportunities and pathways into employment, including apprenticeships that are available to them, as well as how to acquire the skills and qualifications necessary to succeed in the workplaces of the future. It's also called for the creation of a new careers leader role, and we're delighted to have so many of you here today, as well as head teachers and other members of senior leadership teams from secondary schools and colleges. At the heart of Future Talent Live, we know that we must prioritise world-class support for educators. Employers like Barclays with their Life Skills programme and BP have made huge commitments to providing resources for young people over the last few years, and we're very pleased to have them on board as foundation partners. So I wanted to outline what we hope to achieve today and from Future Talent Live going forward. These conferences and events provide live opportunities to share insights about the future of work and also introductions to some of the highly practical tools and resources freely available to educators and careers leaders. Collectively, we recognise what an enormous and brilliant job teachers are doing throughout our country. We know how pressured, time-starved and resource-challenged you are. Our commitment is to work with our partners to serve up content that's already mapped to the system that you've been tasked with delivering against, the Gatsby benchmarks, and also to provide it in forms that can seamlessly support you across the whole curriculum. Practical support for everyday work with students will come in the form of content and insights from employers and partners in a termly Future Talent magazine. Print and digital versions are being distributed to every school in the country, and a futuretalentlive.com website will provide real-time daily insights aiming to bring the world of work to life. And finally, to briefly explain the narrative of today, we'll be hearing more about the skills that we will all need to thrive, including the ability to be lifelong learners. Several of the keynotes and panel discussions will focus on employability skills and how to prepare our young people to be work-ready. As change becomes the constant, our ability to adapt and to make successful transitions will also be key. Leading through change and insights about how to successfully manage people and elite teams is something that Sir Clive Woodward has achieved at the highest levels, and we look forward to hearing from him in conversation with Alistair Campbell before lunch. Now, one of the downsides of the pace and scale of change, the inexorable advances in technology, and the disruption of the familiar patterns of our lives, is that this is also likely to involve enormous levels of stress. Mental ill health is already a big challenge in our society, with schools and colleges facing escalating numbers of staff and students in need of support. So what can we do about this, as individuals and as organisations? How we confront, destigmatise, and positively manage this is central to the well-being of all of us and our children. We'll hear today that it's essential to look at well-being as a key asset. I'm delighted to be partnering with Time to Change, who are real subject matter experts in this area, with a dedicated education arm within their organisation. As well as hearing a range of personal stories during the day that I'm sure will be inspiring, we'll also signpost practical resources that you can start using immediately in your own schools, colleges, and lives. I believe that we can't solve the challenges of our time in isolation. We must solve them together. We might come from different backgrounds and be at different stages in our lives, but we surely hold common hopes for a better future for ourselves and our children. As Hamlet said, the readiness is all.